Melody Shari has officially made her decision to walk away from Love and Marriage Huntsville, and this exit has sent shockwaves through the fan base and the world of reality TV. No one saw this coming. While her departure had been speculated for a while, it's clear now that this wasn't just another career move. This was a power play, and it's shaking the entire foundation of the show. From the very start of Love and Marriage Huntsville, Melody was more than just a cast member. She was the heartbeat of the show. Her life, her journey, and her personal drama with Martell Holt created the kind of reality TV gold that kept viewers glued to their screens. But behind the cameras, the tension had been building for a long time. The pressure of carrying the show, the constant battles with her ex-husband Martell, and the constant conflicts with the other cast members had slowly taken a toll on her. It reached a point where Melody couldn't keep pushing through the same issues over and over again. Something had to give. While Melody's decision to leave the show might have seemed sudden to fans, it wasn't a rash choice. She had hinted at her frustrations with the show for months. The final straw was a combination of factors: the never-ending drama with Martell, the constant on-screen clashes with other cast members, and the feeling that the producers were not allowing her to evolve, but instead keeping her stuck in a cycle of old battles. It became clear that Love and Marriage Huntsville was no longer a platform for her to tell her story. Instead, it became a trap that kept dragging her back into the same painful narrative. That one thing that can't be ignored is how the producers played a role in all of this. There were rumors that Melody had been unhappy with how certain storylines were handled, especially how her own life and struggles were portrayed. Instead of being allowed to move forward and evolve, the producers kept pulling her back into the drama, especially with Martell. After everything that had happened between them, it became nearly impossible for her to separate her personal growth from the show's demands. And speaking of Martell, his response to Melody's departure was one that caught everyone off guard. At first, he seemed calm and collected. There were no explosive rants or public displays of anger, something that would have been expected given the history of their relationship. It almost seemed like Martell didn't care much about the news, but if you've followed Martell for any amount of time, you know that his cool demeanor may be hiding something deeper. For years, Love and Marriage Huntsville revolved around the drama between Martell and Melody. Their messy divorce, his infidelity, and the emotional confrontations between them were some of the most talked about moments in reality TV. But with Melody gone, Martell's role in the show immediately became uncertain. The dynamic that fans had grown to love was no longer there. Without her, what was Martell's storyline? How would the show work without its main attraction? Martell, ever the master of controlling narratives, quickly went into damage control mode. He downplayed the significance of Melody's departure, implying that it was a natural progression, something that didn't come as a surprise to him. But was this really the case? Fans who have followed the show for years quickly pointed out that Martell's reaction seemed more like a tactic to keep control of the narrative. After all, if Melody had been the main driver of the show's success, what did that leave Martell with now? Some fans even commented that Martell acting unbothered by Melody's exit was the biggest red flag. It's clear that Martell thrived in the drama that surrounded his relationship with Melody. Without her, he's left with no storyline, no anchor to keep the show's focus on him. For Martell, losing Melody could mean losing everything he's built in the reality TV world. For years, his public persona has been shaped by the drama between them. Without Melody, Martell would have to redefine himself, and that's not something he's been able to do easily. But let's take a deeper look at why Melody's departure is so impactful. She wasn't just a cast member, she was the show's central figure. Whether it was her personal life, her business ventures, or her journey as a woman dealing with betrayal and heartbreak, Melody's story resonated with viewers on a personal level. Her strength, her resilience, and her determination to move forward after everything she went through made her a fan favorite. But now, with her gone, the show is left to pick up the pieces. Can it survive without her? Martell's calm reaction was perhaps his way of minimizing the impact of Melody's exit, but the reality is that the show will never be the same without her. Love and Marriage Huntsville was built on their dynamic, and now that it's gone, the producers will have to figure out how to move forward. Without Melody as the focal point, what will the new direction of the show be? Will the other cast members be able to fill the void left by her departure? Another crucial aspect of this situation is the role of the producers. There have been whispers about the behind-the-scenes drama at Love and Marriage Huntsville. Some sources suggest that Melody's departure wasn't just a personal decision, but rather part of a bigger plan. Could the producers have been pushing her out? Was there a hidden agenda behind the scenes that led to this moment? And if so, how does Martell fit into that narrative? Is he now positioned to take the lead, or will he struggle without Melody's presence to prop him up? If we're being honest, it's difficult to imagine Love and Marriage Huntsville without Melody at the forefront. Her absence changes everything, not just for the viewers, but also for the remaining cast members and the show's producers. The dynamic of the show is completely altered, and it leaves a lot of questions unanswered. Will other cast members step up to fill the void? Will the show introduce new storylines to keep things interesting? And what about Martell? How will he handle being the central figure in a show that no longer revolves around his messy relationship with Melody? One thing is certain, the future of Love and Marriage Huntsville is now uncertain. The producers will likely have to rethink their approach, and there may be more changes to come. But will they be able to salvage the show without its biggest star? It's hard to say, but one thing is clear, Melody's departure has created a huge shift, and the show will never be the same. For now, fans are left to wonder what's next. Will Melody return? Reality TV exits are rarely permanent, and many stars have come back to the show after leaving. But for Melody, this feels different. She has been vocal about her frustrations with the show, and it seems like she's ready to move on to bigger and better things. Will she ever come back to Love and Marriage Huntsville, or is this the end of her reality TV career? There are a lot of questions left unanswered, and only time will tell what happens next. But one thing is certain. Love and Marriage Huntsville without Melody Shari is going to be a very different show. Fans will have to wait and see how the producers handle this change and whether the remaining cast members can step up to the plate. In the end, it all comes down to one question. Can the show survive without its biggest star? We've seen shows undergo major changes before, and sometimes they come out stronger, but with Melody's departure, the show faces its biggest challenge yet. Will Love and Marriage Huntsville find a way to thrive in the absence of Melody Shari, or is this the beginning of the end? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about Melody's decision to leave? Do you think the show can survive without her? Will Martell be able to maintain his role in the spotlight, or is this the end of his reign? I'm curious to hear what you all think.